to grab snacks from the supermarket. The little zombie sprints 18 blocks every day pushing her cart. Even the zombie dogs wandering on the street have been kicked by her like 800 times. But all other zombies don't dare to complain at all. They run as far away as possible the second they see her, because the little zombie's temper is as weird as her taste. She never eats raw meat or drinks blood at all, and punches every zombie that makes fun of her far away. There's only one exception, though. One day, the little zombie came home pushing a cart full of snacks again, but she tripped over the threshold when entering the house. Thud! The little zombie fell straight face down on the floor. She hasn't learned how to roll over yet. She struggled stiffly for ages, but couldn't get up. The man sitting on the roof eating cookies saw this whole scene, couldn't hold back a snort of laughter. Shen-yan had been staying here for 3 days. He went from being dazed at first to fully awake now. The only thing he pays attention to is this special little zombie. The little zombie goes out on time every day and diligently pushes a cart full of food back home. She can't even eat any of this stuff. No one knows why she hoards food, but watching the little zombie being busy is the only thing that relaxes Shen-yan. Now he's about to leave, so he decided before he goes to leave a gift for the little zombie. Just then, the little zombie finally pulled herself up by the door frame, kicked the threshold twice, before laboriously pushing her cart into the house. Rows of cabinets lined the room, neatly stacked with all the food she collected. Looking at the cabinets full of food, the little zombie let out 2 happy giggles, then walked into the bedroom next door. The bedroom was painted pink, and there was a princess bed inside. The little zombie laid on it happily, put her hands on her stomach, and slowly closed her eyes. It's noon. Time for a nap. Normally, zombies don't need to sleep. But this little zombie insists on eating and resting like humans do. She's actually just lying there spacing out, even though her brain is already completely empty. When Shen-yan saw there was no movement in the house, he guessed the weird little zombie had gone to sleep. He knew her schedule perfectly. She wakes up an hour later, eats a little of the food she brought back, then spits it out, then pushes her cart and goes out again. Things went exactly as he expected. The little zombie woke up, started to eat, then spat the food out again, and finally pushed her cart and left the house. Shen-yan jumped down from the roof, looked at the food filling the cabinets. He thought the little zombie doesn't need these anyway. Might as well take them with him. So the next second, he cleared out all the little zombie's hoard. After his space was filled with supplies, Shen-yan left a piece of fresh pork on the cabinet. He silently said goodbye in his heart. Little zombie, thanks for the stuff. In the afternoon, the little zombie came back with a cart full of snacks. There was a small tear in her clothes. Turns out when she tried to enter a shop, a huge zombie blocked her way. It took her 2 punches to send the big zombie flying. But as soon as she entered the house, the little zombie froze. Where's her food? Where did all the food she worked so hard to hoard go? The little zombie couldn't believe it. She checked every single room. They were all really empty. "Awoo, awoo!" she howled at the top of her lungs. But there wasn't a single tear in her eyes. Just then, the little zombie suddenly caught a scent. She followed the smell and found that piece of fresh pork. The meat smelled good, but she wouldn't eat it. She just wanted her food back. Even if the little zombie was super dumb, she knew someone had stolen her food. That's so mean. She had no energy left at all. She just wanted to veg out. The little zombie laid on the bed, staring wide-eyed, heartbroken. She cried for most of the night, but the corners of her eyes were still dry. Finally, she wrinkled her little nose and made a mental note to remember the thief's scent. Next time she sees him, she's definitely going to eat him. Early the next morning, the little zombie woke up craving food. She slowly walked to the kitchen, picked up the pork, opened her mouth wide to take a bite. Crack! She opened her mouth too wide, and her jaw dislocated. The little zombie poked her jaw back up with her hand, popped it back into place, then opened her mouth wide again to take a bite. But he suddenly stopped. Mom told him before, food has to be cooked before you eat it. But how do you cook meat anyway? The little zombie stared at the fragrant pork with a glum face. Finally, he huffed and ran back to the living room, grabbed the snacks he brought back yesterday, and started eating. After finishing the snacks, the little zombie decided to move. There's a thief here? He wants a place the thief will never find. But right now, the only thing he owns is a small cart. The little zombie pushed the cart and walked for miles. Once in a while, other zombies said hi to him on the road. But he ignored all of them. He didn't remember these zombie neighbors at all. He even forgot the thief who stole his food. Completely, not a single memory left. Soon the little zombie reached an unfamiliar street. A huge bulky zombie blocked his way. The big zombie showed off his long, sharp nails, bared his teeth to scare the little zombie. If you translate it into human language, it roughly means, "Hey, you little squirt. What the heck are you holding there? We zombies are supposed to gobble meat and gulp blood nonstop. Why don't you make me your boss? I'll make sure you never go hungry." Oh, roar. The little zombie didn't want to deal with this rude jerk. He pushed his cart, trying to walk around him. This move completely pissed off the big, bulky zombie. He just knocked over the little zombie's cart straight away. All the stuff inside spilled all over the ground. That was all the food the little zombie collected with so much effort along the way. This is absolutely unbearable. Even a zombie can't put up with this. The little zombie was like a tiny cannonball and slammed straight into the bulky zombie. There was a loud thud. The bulky zombie fell hard to the ground. But that wasn't the end of it. The little zombie lifted a stone block next to him and threw it right at the zombie. The hundreds of pound stone block crashed onto the road, leaving a big crater behind. Oh, roar. The little zombie was huffing with anger. All the snacks are dirty now. Can't eat them anymore. I have to find new ones. The little zombie is a very clean zombie. He picked up the cart that was tipped over on the side, but the wheels were already bent out of shape. Furious, the little zombie smashed the cart away with a loud clank. Don't want it, I don't want this stupid cart anymore. He stormed forward with his head down, furious, scaring all the nearby zombies into getting out of his way. Luckily for him, he didn't walk for long before the little zombie passed by a supermarket and found a brand new cart. He was finally happy again. After walking for who knows how long, the little zombie finally found a perfect spot. There are no humans here, and barely any zombies either. He was super happy with this place, 'cause there are no thieves here. Even though he only remembered this whole thief thing on and off, the house here is really big. Too bad there's no pink bed. There were 2 more zombies wandering around the house, and the little zombie chased them both away aggressively. Right after he settled the cart in place, the little zombie went behind another house and found some weird stuff. Those things had really long noses, and he couldn't understand their noises. But seeing they were locked up, the little zombie thought they looked a bit pitiful. So he clumsily climbed over the low wall, wanting to let these chubby things out, but he got headbutted by one of them in return. The little zombie who was perched on the low wall got mad immediately. He swiped at it with his paw, leaving 4 long scratch marks on the chubby thing. Some liquid oozed out from the scratches, and it smelled a little fragrant. He thought he'd smelled this scent before. The little zombie stopped being angry right away. He looked at the chubby thing and grinned, showing his sharp teeth. I won't go hungry now. I'll never go hungry ever again. These chubby things are the best. I'm gonna keep them. The little zombie happily hopped off the low wall, but when he ran into the yard, he suddenly stopped. What was I gonna do just now? I forgot again for the 100th time. After a really long time, the little zombie finally remembered. He ran to find a basin and ran back to the chubby things. The chubby things' noises were so annoying. The little zombie squatted off to the side and covered his ears with his hands. Then he carried a half basin of food and excitedly went back into the house, getting ready to start a fire and cook. Wait, how do you start a fire anyway? The little zombie froze immediately, but nothing is ever too hard for him. 1 hour passed, then another 2 hours passed. Suddenly there was a loud bang. The little zombie kicked over a whole pile of firewood. He doesn't want to start a fire. He doesn't even want to eat either. The little zombie stormed out the door. He grabbed a zombie dog by the corner and started brawling with it. He thinks fighting is the best way to vent joy. For the next 2 days, the little zombie's whole routine was just fighting, fighting, and more fighting, until he became the only zombie within a 100-meter radius. Finally, 5 days later, the little zombie learned how to get by on his own, and he finally had a full meal for once. That made him super happy. He started pushing his little cart into the city every day again, bringing back cartloads of food each time. Pretty soon, his little warehouse was almost full again. This time, the little zombie always locked the door properly before going out, though sometimes he forgot why he needed to lock it. But he never skipped the locking part anyway. But the 2 chubby things he locked up were getting skinnier by the day. After all, they had to give food to the little zombie every few days. No one could put up with that. Plus, the little zombie had no clue how to feed pigs. Just look at what he feeds them. It's all cookies. Bread and instant noodles? None of that is proper pig feed. The little zombie was super worried too. If these two chubby things died, he'd go hungry again, right? He thought about it for ages, and finally came up with a great idea. A few days later, a girl's scream came from a farmhouse yard. "Oh no, oh no! Someone's stealing our family's pigs." Right after she yelled that, a man quickly climbed out the window onto the roof. Then he spotted a familiar figure. He frowned, confused. What's he doing here? He saw the little zombie tucking a piglet under his arm and waddling away as fast as he could. You couldn't tell he was a zombie from his back at all. But Shen Yan recognized him immediately. After all, she'd staked out his home for 3 whole days and nights and cleared out all his stockpiled food. Looks like he still hasn't eaten any humans. Otherwise, he wouldn't be stealing pigs. Shen Yan suddenly felt even more curious about this little zombie. Right now, the little zombie was running like crazy, all excited. Totally unaware someone was following him. He'd had his eye on these piglets for ages. When he got back to his place, he put the newly stolen piglet with the 2 skinny grown pigs. Then he went to take his afternoon nap peacefully. Shen Yan followed him all the way to an abandoned pig farm. Among all the rundown buildings, she found the little zombie's warehouse right away. He even knows how to lock the door. Wow. Shen Yan looked inside through the glass. Her jaw almost hit the floor. It was stuffed completely full of food. Who would have thought in just over half a month, this little zombie had collected so much stuff again? But right at that moment, Shen Yan felt a cold chill coming from behind her. She rolled out of the way by instinct. The next second, a huge boulder slammed right where she'd been standing. Shen Yan turned around and saw the furious little zombie baring his sharp fangs, staring at her with eyes as big as bells. It's that thieving bad guy. The little zombie clenched his fists tight. 5 minutes ago, he was lying comfortably in bed when he suddenly smelled a human, and the scent was kind of familiar. It smelled like that food thief. The little zombie jumped straight out of bed, all fired up to get his revenge, only to see the thief staring right at his warehouse. This bad guy wants to steal his food again. The little zombie was so mad he could explode. He picked up a huge rock off the ground and threw it right at her. He missed the thief and ended up smashing a hole in the door instead. The little zombie was so upset he almost cried. His facial expressions kept shifting. 1 second he was angry, the next he was sad. He roared and lifted his claws to look threatening. Shen Yan had no idea what the little zombie was roaring about, but she could tell he was cursing her out really hard. That made her even more interested in this zombie. It was the first time she'd seen such a reasonable zombie. He didn't pounce on a living human to bite them. He just stood there yelling insults instead. "I'm not here to steal your stuff, but you don't even need any of this anyway." Roar, roar, roar. The little zombie wouldn't listen. He couldn't understand anyway. He kept baring his teeth at her. But the next second, Shen Yan pulled a piece of meat out of her space. The little zombie froze immediately. His eyes were instantly glued to the meat. He even couldn't help swallowing. Well, if zombies could produce saliva anyway. But he still didn't let his guard down. This bad guy definitely wants to use one piece of meat to trade for all the food in his warehouse. He's a smart zombie, you know? He'd never make such a stupid, unfair deal. Wow, you've gotten smarter. Shen Yan was pretty surprised. Who would have thought in just half a month, this zombie's movements had gotten way more agile. His brain works better than before. Suddenly a thought popped into her head. Her expression went cold instantly. Did you eat human flesh? Who knew the little zombie was angrier than her? This jerk not only stole his stuff, but also falsely accused him of eating people. His roars sounded like he was saying, "You're the one who eats people. Your whole family eats people." The little zombie's expression was so fierce that Shen Yan somehow miraculously got what he meant. That's fine, you didn't eat anyone. No need to call people names, right? After that, she stopped messing with the zombie. Actually, she came to help chase the piglet down. She was going to look around first. But the little zombie suddenly spread his arms and blocked the entrance to a house. Shen Yan got it right away. She walked right over to him, reached out and pressed the little zombie's head down with one hand. Turns out this little zombie was pretty strong. Shen Yan had to use 80% of her strength to hold him down. "Keep squirming and I'll twist your head off." Hearing that, the little zombie froze immediately. This person stole his stuff, and now she's going to twist his head off? How could he put up with that? The furious little zombie suddenly tapped into his hidden strength. He opened his mouth wide to take a big bite, aiming for Shen Yan's wrist. But he didn't bite her wrist. Instead, a scent he'd never smelled before drifted into his nose. The little zombie suddenly didn't want to bite anymore. He stuck his tongue out and gave it a lick instead. So good, it smells so good. He immediately looked like he was totally drunk, staring at Shen Yan's wrist obsessively. This weird move made Shen Yan shiver and yank her hand back right away. Yep, he's still a zombie after all. Shen Yan knew zombies really well by now. No matter what kind of zombie it is, they'll instinctively pounce on people when they see them. Only this little zombie has no interest in eating humans. He's only obsessed with collecting useless stuff. Just like a little hamster, Shen Yan acted on a random impulse and pulled a bowl of steaming braised pork out of her space. The rich scent snapped the dazed little zombie back to reality immediately. This also confirmed Shen Yan's guess. This zombie still retains human habits and rationality. She carried the meat and walked aside. The little zombie followed right after her, his eyes glued to the meat the whole time. Total greedy little guy. Shen Yan put the bowl of meat down. The little zombie pounced on it immediately to eat. She took the chance to walk towards the room behind the little zombie. She poked her head in to look and couldn't help twitching the corner of her mouth. She finally understood why the little zombie stole the piglet. How on earth did he raise the pigs to be so skin and bones? The two big pigs were already so thin they were nothing but skeletons, lying weakly on the ground. The newly stolen little piglet was placed off to the side all alone. Seeing the little zombie was still busy eating the meat, Shen Yan picked up the piglet and turned to leave. She was totally speechless inside. She's fought zombies countless times, but this time it was actually to snatch a pig. But luckily, she was the one who chased after it. If it had been one of her teammates, they probably would have really twisted the little zombie's head off. Just then, a burly man walked up to her. "Brother Shen, let me carry that for you. Go eat quick." Loksha took the piglet. He didn't ask what happened to the pig thief. Anyways, Brother Shen always handles things cleanly and efficiently. After this lesson, the thief definitely won't dare come back. But Luji was wrong. That pig thief didn't just come back. This time he started stealing their food too. For several days straight. Their food kept disappearing for no reason, especially the meat. Is there another survivor nearby? Should I seal the doors and windows tighter later? Luja thought the food thief must be a human. But in times like these, people's intentions are hard to read. We have to be extra careful. Shen Yan's hand holding the chopsticks paused slightly. This place isn't a long-term stay spot either. Let's collect more supplies today. We leave in 3 days. With that, she lowered her head and started shoveling rice from her bowl. The little zombie's dirty face popped into her head again. A few days ago, after the little zombie finished the whole bowl of braised pork, he'd long forgotten about the jerk who stole his food. His face covered in grease, he went straight back to sleep. He didn't remember until he went to check his storage the next day that the food he'd worked so hard to carry back was gone again. The bad person stole his stuff again. He's gonna get revenge? So the little zombie started his little crime spree of stealing meat. But there was no movement at the bad person's place today. The little zombie didn't steal anything, so he had to go home disappointed. He went to check on the food he was raising and saw the two fat things were already collapsed on the ground. The little zombie felt a bit down. Finally, he wheeled his little cart back out. There's no meat to eat. He had to go back to his old gig. The little zombie entered the city like he knew it, like the back of his hand. He headed to the familiar mall, but the supermarket turned out to be completely empty. He froze. The shelves that used to be piled with messy food were mostly empty. The rest were all stuff he hated. The little zombie refused to believe it and went to the next supermarket. At the next one, then another and another. They were all the same. The little zombie was totally confused. It's only been a few days since he last came. There was so much stuff in the supermarkets before. How come it's all gone? Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Shen Yan was putting items from a warehouse into his space. He always left some supplies every time he took things, in case other survivors came by later. But after days of collecting, he was pretty sure. There were barely any humans left in this small town. Right at that moment, Luji's voice came. "Brother Shen? They're charging over here!" There was an earthen wall built by Luji's power at the entrance. The horde of crazy zombies actually broke through the windows. Shen Yan ordered in a deep voice, "I'll cover the rear. You go start the car first." Seeing Luja successfully break out the door, He also started to retreat while fighting. More and more zombies were surrounding them now, all baring their teeth and clawing wildly. Their thirst for blood made them completely insane. Shen Yan quickly took a grenade out of his space. Boom! Zombies were blown everywhere. The little zombie not far away suddenly lifted his head, then pushed his cart and ran this way as fast as he could. There's a scent, so good. It smells so good. Lots of zombies on the road also ran over. They all smelled the blood. The grenade wasn't super powerful, but it still blew a big hole in the back door. Shen Yan glanced at his wrist. The cut made by the shrapnel there? He cursed under his breath. Out here, even the slightest smell of blood will draw hundreds or thousands of zombies. Looks like he couldn't meet up with Luja for now. He quickly jumped onto the roof, signaling du Chateau Dryboff first. Luja was a bit confused, but seeing that Shen Yan was okay, he still breathed a sigh of relief. After hesitating for 3 seconds, he drove off under his captain's deep gaze. The little zombie right now was still running wildly with the hoard. He never even let go of his cart the whole time. When the hoard stopped, he lifted his head to look at the roof. That's where the scent was coming from. Next, he saw that bad guy who stole his food. Seeing that guy surrounded by other zombies, the little zombie got furious right away. This guy stole his stuff. He should compensate him. But these other zombies wanted to take his food. The little zombie already saw Shen Yan as his food. This was the first time he wanted to eat a human this badly, because this guy smelled so damn good. The smell made him all dizzy with desire. Roar, roar, roar! He roared at the other zombies, like he was saying, mine. All mine! But those zombies, stimulated by the blood, had already gone completely mad. They paid no attention to the little zombie at all. Some even roared back at him angrily, louder and meaner than him. Now the little zombie was really mad. He circled around the alley once, and finally found a good spot on the other side. The little zombie charged over and knocked all the zombies in his way down. He roared as he did it. You dare roar at me? I'll break all your legs. Then he pushed his cart up against the wall and started roaring up at the roof. There were so many zombies around. The roars of the other zombies could be heard hundreds of meters away, but Shen Yan could pick out that familiar voice from all the other noises easily. He looked in the direction of the sound, and sure enough, he saw the little zombie bouncing around by the wall. His beat-up little cart was propped against the wall. As he bounced, he still remembered to chase off other zombies that came too close. When the little zombie saw Shen Yan, his gray eyes seemed to light up a little. He grinned, showing his little sharp fangs, and waved enthusiastically toward his cart. Is he trying to get me to jump into his cart? Shen Yan was totally confused. Right behind the little zombie, a huge buff zombie suddenly charged over. Before Shen Yan could even say anything, to warn him, he saw the little zombie get sent flying by the impact. He hit the ground with a loud thud. Just from the sound, Shen Yan knew the little zombie must have broken a few bones. He got angry all of a sudden. Spatial power started to form in his left hand. This was the first time he wanted to expose his power. In broad daylight. Just to kill this arrogant, clueless zombie. Before he could even lift a finger, he saw the little zombie that had taken a rough fall, had already gotten back up, and casually twisted her dislocated shoulder back into place. She tilted her head from side to side, then walked towards a collapsed house. With 2 sharp cracking sounds, she tore the beam right off. That beam was made of solid concrete and rebar. She lifted it like it was nothing, and came charging over with loud pattering steps. Loud bang. The beam slammed straight into the big zombie. Before the big zombie could even react, it went completely motionless. The little zombie, half her face covered in dirt, had just gotten her revenge, and ran back to the corner of the wall, and kept calling out to Shen Yan persistently. How stubborn she is. Yan finally stopped rejecting her kind offer, and hopped straight into the small cart. Before he could even get his balance, the little zombie started pushing the cart as fast as she could. The zombies that had finally managed to climb onto the roof were totally confused all of a sudden. Meanwhile, the zombies on the ground followed the scent and gave chase. If there were any survivors left in this city, they'd definitely witness a total miracle. A grown man being pushed around by a little girl, stumbling down the street at top speed, with a huge horde of zombies chasing right behind them. The man sat leisurely in the cart, tossing a grenade into the horde every now and then. But there were way too many zombies. There was no way he could blow them all up. Good thing the little zombie ran faster than all the other zombies. And she never got tired. She soon pushed Shenyun really far ahead. The zombies behind them finally stopped chasing, because the smell of blood from Shenyun's wrist had finally faded. But the little zombie who was the closest to him could still smell it clearly. Finally, the human and the zombie arrived at a standalone private courtyard. The little zombie expertly snapped the lock off the front gate. The yard wasn't very big, with 4 or 5 rooms on the property. She pushed Shenyun all the way into the house, but the steps were in the way. She tried getting the cart over several times and failed. So she just looked at Shenyun with shiny, pleading eyes. Shenyun quickly got the hint and hopped off the cart and walked inside the house, as expected. This was another one of the little zombie's storage spots. Piles of food were scattered all over the floor. If a person hid here, they'd have enough supplies to live for over half a year. But this place wasn't as neat as the little zombie's previous storage spot. Everything was just tossed around randomly. It was probably a temporary shelter. Shenyun looked at all this stuff. He felt like he'd be letting the little zombie's hard work go to waste if he didn't take it. But when he turned around, he saw the little zombie staring straight at his wrist. Her face practically screamed one thing: "Let me take a bite." Turns out, the little zombie brought him back just to eat him. A tiny, unnoticeable smile tugged at the corner of Shenyun's lips. He decided to teach the little zombie a little lesson. He reached out towards the piles of food. The previously packed house was completely empty in an instant. The little zombie froze for a second. Her mouth dropped open into a perfect O, but she didn't get angry this time. She looked like she was thinking about something instead. Next second, the little zombie took Shenyun to the other rooms. Without exception, all of them were stuffed full of stuff. This zombie seemed extra obsessed with food, especially all kinds of snacks. Following the free stuff is always good principle. Shenyun took all of the stuff too. The little zombie didn't stop him. She just stared at him with a fascinated look on her face. The only thought in her head was, "So fragrant. So fragrant?" After Shenyun finished collecting all the stuff, the little zombie finally couldn't wait any longer and grabbed his arm. "I want it so bad, so bad." She'd waited for so long, and even gave him all her precious food. He owed her a bite, right? Only then did Shenyun realize this little thing was trying to trade her stuff for a bite of him, just as the little zombie was about to sink her teeth in. A large hand pressed down on her head. The little zombie refused to give up and pushed forward with all her might. But she couldn't get any closer to his wrist at all. "I never agreed to let you bite me," Shang Tian said. He flipped his hand and pulled a bowl of meat out of his space. It was steaming hot and smelled amazing. The little zombie hesitated for a moment. She ended up choosing the wrist anyway. "Don't be stubborn." Shenyun pulled the little zombie away immediately and took the bowl of meat away too and walked straight towards the door. Her food was just leaving like that? And he'd even taken all her precious food for free? The little zombie got really mad now. She rushed over and jumped onto Shenyun's back. She wrapped both her hands around his arms and locked her legs around his waist and opened her mouth to bite his neck. But Shenyun reacted way faster than she did. He turned around and pulled her off right away. Crack! The little zombie snapped its teeth on thin air. Its teeth clacked together. Next second, the little zombie got a pair of silver bracelets and was cuffed to the iron gate. Furious, it shook the iron gate so hard it clanged loudly. Looking at the little zombie's furious look, Shenyun suddenly felt in a great mood and left laughing out loud. But he celebrated too soon. This little zombie holds grudges, you know? It came back to get even that very night. No one knew what the silver bracelets Shenyun put on it were made of. The little zombie tried like hell but couldn't break them, so it ended up tearing the whole iron gate off its hinges and marched off triumphantly to get its revenge. All the way there, the little zombie swung the big iron gate, swatting every zombie in its path away. Then, it started bashing straight at the gate of Luja's house. The noise was deafening. Roars, "Let me out!" The noise stood out sharply in the dark night. It woke up everyone inside the house immediately. Luja rushed out to check what was going on. The first thing he saw was Shenyun grinning by the window. He looked outside following the noise and could only see a tiny figure holding something and bashing the door loudly. "Hey pal, outside, why so angry? We can talk this out, lit." The zombie moved so fast, Lucia had no idea it was a zombie at all. He just thought this person clearly didn't want to talk and kept bashing the door loudly. Luja frowned. "Is he?" But Shenyun nodded. "It's a zombie. I was actually going to say, is he out of his mind?" Slamming the door with that much force, If he wants to get in, wouldn't climbing the wall be easier? But Shen Yan cut him off. Luja asked again, "Zombie?" "Brother Shen, do you know him?" Luja just assumed the person outside was human, and thought Zombie was his name. Shen Yan couldn't help bursting out laughing. "Yeah, I know this grudge-holding little brat," he said as he walked outside. He knew perfectly well, if he didn't go out now, this little zombie might bash the door all night. Seeing the nice-smelling food walk out, the little zombie slowed down its bashing. It bared its teeth at Shen Yan and roared, "Let me take a bite, and I'll let you off the hook?" Shen Yan stared back at the little zombie through the gate. "Hey, brat, have I been too nice to you? That's why you're so bold, huh? Waking people up in the middle of the night. Shen Yan doesn't usually get grumpy when woken up, but being woken up from sleep doesn't exactly put you in a good mood." Clang, clang! 2 hard bashes on the gate were his only answer. The little zombie got anxious and stuck its hand through the gap in the iron gate. But no matter how hard it tried, it couldn't reach Shen Yan. He was standing at just the right distance, out of its reach and out of its grasp. "You ungrateful little thing. I let you off earlier and even gave you meat? And this is how you repay me? Tearing down my door?" Shen Yan took a walnut out of his space and threw it right at the little zombie's head. He didn't use much force, so it didn't hurt much, but it still confused the hell out of the little zombie. It dropped the iron gate with a loud clang, tilted its head back and started howling. The little zombie was so wronged. This bad guy not only stole his food, hit him, but also tied him up. That's so unfair. Even zombies want to cry, you know? The little zombie tilted its head up at a 45-degree angle and howled silently. No sound came out, and there were no tears either. Shen Yan laughed out of exasperation. "How is there such a weird zombie in the world?" he said helplessly. All right. I'll untie you. Just stop causing trouble, okay?" As soon as he finished speaking, the little zombie stopped howling. Its dull eyes stared blankly at him. There was a sharp click. The silver cuffs came undone. The iron gate clattered to the ground. Just as Shen Yan was about to scare the little zombie a bit more, it suddenly grabbed his wrist tightly, lowered its head, and took a big bite. Shen Yan felt a cold sensation on his wrist, and instantly instinctively conjured a blade of space power. But the little zombie reacted super fast, took a quick sip of blood, then stepped back and ran off at top speed. It looked like it was on a total high, looking at the 2 tiny bite marks on his wrist. Shen Yan shook his head. He has a special constitution, so he's immune to the zombie virus. It's just that every time he comes into contact with the virus, I get a high fever for 2 days every time. It's like my immune system is fighting off the virus. Looks like we have to delay our trip for 2 more days. Shen Yan hid the wound under his sleeve, turned around and went back into the house. Meanwhile, under the moonlight in the distance, a small figure was moving quickly, bouncing along as she went. The little zombie was smiling. Wind was whooshing right into her wide-open mouth, but she didn't care at all. She was absolutely over the moon right now. I got a bite. That tastes so damn good." The little zombie had never tasted anything this good before. She wanted to take another bite, but that man was going to hit her. She wasn't the smartest, but she had a really strong sense of danger. The second she picked up on danger, no matter how obsessed she was with his blood, she ran away immediately. This was the first time the little zombie had drunk human blood, and the only blood that didn't make her feel sick. She was so excited that she ran 80 laps around her house. She didn't stop until the sky started to light up. Now she felt like she was full of energy. The little zombie thought for a second and decided to go into the city to pick fights. The expected high fever never showed up. Shen Yan was as healthy as usual. Looking at the already scabbed wound, you couldn't tell at all it was a zombie bite. He suddenly started questioning his own body. Did my physique change somehow? As for the culprit that bit him, after going into the city and fighting a bunch of zombies, she snuck over to Luja's house again. She was dying for another bite. She wanted to take one more bite so bad. Over the next few days, the Liu family kept spotting a sneaky little figure hanging around nearby. The naive little zombie thought she was hiding really well. She had no idea they'd already spotted her ages ago. "Mom, is that the one who stole our meat?" She looked so pitiful. Luja's daughter was leaning against the window, looking sympathetically at the little zombie crouching behind the tree. The little zombie's view was blocked by the tree trunk, so she naturally thought no one could see her either. She's probably scared. Don't scare her. Suchin rubbed his daughter's little head. He couldn't help feeling bad for this little thief, too. The little zombie waited from dusk till dawn. Shen Yan never came out once. But she got smarter this time. She didn't dare bang on the door again. She was scared everyone in the house would come out and beat her up. The little zombie isn't scared of other zombies, but she's scared of humans. She thought for a second, then stood up and hurried off. An hour later, the little zombie came back pushing a cart full of stuff. She dumped it all in front of Lu Jie's door. Then she kept going back and forth with the cart diligently, until there was a small mountain of food piled up by the door. Both Lu Jie and Su Qin were confused by what she was doing. Is she here to compensate us for the meat she stole? I'll go get Brother Shen to take a look. They seemed to know each other. Shen Yan hadn't left the house all day. He was writing something in his notebook right now. There were also some weapons and maps on the table. It wasn't until Lu Jie came to tell him that he found out. The little zombie had been waiting outside for him all day. He went outside and saw all the stuff. He almost laughed out of frustration. What is this little zombie up to? Shen Yan actually laughed. Since he always took things from the little zombie before, she thought he liked this kind of stuff. Even though it hurt her so bad to give them up. She gave all her stored goods to him, all just to get a bite of him. If he takes her stuff, he has to let her bite him, right? But Shen Yan wasn't happy with all these things at all. One bite from me is only worth this little stuff. Lu Jie was playing peacemaker on the side. Come on, Brother Shen, she's just a little girl after all. She only stole a bit of meat. No need to hold it against her. In his opinion, this little girl is obviously not very bright. She couldn't do anything really terrible. Shen Yan's mouth twitched. That's a zombie. Haha, I know it's a zombie. Lu Jie scratched his head awkwardly. He didn't get what that had to do with anything. Yin Yan rubbed his forehead helplessly. He kinda regretted that when he picked Lu Jie for the team. He only looked at his strength and forgot to test his brain. He finally sent Lu Jie away casually and went out himself. He saw all the stuff on the ground. His mouth twitched again. The little zombie probably sensed Shen Yan's displeasure. She silently stepped back 2 paces, but still stared at him with sincere eyes. Her eyes were full of innocent stupidity. Take these back. I don't want them, and there's no way I'm letting you bite me. As soon as he finished speaking, the little zombie was stunned instantly. She visibly deflated like a punctured balloon. Seeing this, Shen Yan's heart softened a little. Fine, fine. He wasn't sure if he said that to the little zombie or to himself. He ended up taking all the stuff. The little zombie lifted his head right away. Every strand of his hair oozed joy. I can't let you bite me. But tomorrow I'll take you to find stuff you can eat. All right, you can go back now. Whether the little zombie understood him or not, Shen Yan turned around and left straight away, leaving the little zombie all alone, standing dumbfounded in the wind. Like seriously confused? His naturally curly long hair was completely puffed up right now. Blown by the wind, it wobbled around like a big fluffy ball. Early the next morning, Shen Yan took the little zombie into the city. On the way, the little zombie kept trying to bite people. But Shen Yan stopped him every time by holding his head down. Finally, Shen Yan found a suitable target, a level 2 zombie. After the zombie virus outbreak, not only can superpower users level up, zombies can level up too. But right now it's still the early stage of the apocalypse. Level 2 zombies are extremely rare. When the little zombie saw where Shen Yan brought him, he immediately got alert. Zombies have a special sense for each other. Around this level 2 zombies territory, there were no other zombies at all. The little zombie never came here either. Even when he picked fights, he only went after the dumb ones wandering on the streets. But his Liang brought him here to fight another zombie one-on-one today. This confused the little zombie a lot. Wait, does Liang pick who gets a meal around here? The little zombie tried his best to look tough. But when he walked inside, he still looked super cautious. Are you too scared to go in? Shen Yan mocked him mercilessly, calling him a coward. Roar! Roar! The little zombie growled unhappily twice. Shen Yan couldn't understand what he was saying, but he figured the little zombie was negotiating terms. As long as you go in and fight him, I'll let you take a bite if you win. How's that, just 1 bite? Hearing the words 1 bite, the little zombie's eyes lit up immediately. He stopped growling with his hands on his hips and charged inside aggressively right away. That big zombie was 3 times the size of the little zombie and moved as fast as lightning. But against the little zombie's absolute strength, he was totally no match. The little zombie pinned his whole body to the ground directly, The little zombie only got a small tear in his clothes. "Roar! Roar!" he yelled at Shenyan proudly, grinning widely, showing his teeth. He looked like he was desperate for praise and a reward. Shenyan walked over silently, pulled out his dagger. The blade flashed past quickly, followed by a dull squelching sound. The little zombie sitting on the corpse shivered a little. He stood up cowardly, but couldn't help glancing at the back of Shenyan's neck. Then he leaned over carefully and sniffed. This person smells so good. Even he, a zombie that never eats meat, is craving it so bad. If he wasn't no match for Shenyan, he wouldn't have been following him around eagerly this whole time. But he won the fight now. It's time to bite. Snap. The little zombie bit thin air again. Don't be naughty. Shenyan twirled the dagger in his hand. The little zombie squatted back immediately, hugging his knees pitifully. His mouth was still moving nonstop. He was probably cursing. Shenyan was amused by his look and laughed. He washed the big zombie's crystal core clean and handed it to the expectant little zombie. The clear crystal core contains special energy. It can help superpower users advance their abilities and also let zombies level up after absorbing it. No zombie can say no to a crystal core. Not even this little zombie that doesn't eat people. The little zombie's eyes were wide with excitement. He quickly grabbed the crystal core and put it in his mouth, crunching on it loudly. Tastes like chicken, super crunchy. The crystal core was as hard as diamond, but he chewed it up easily. Now the little zombie was happy again. He didn't feel like biting anyone for the time being, but he still planned to bite later. You should find crystal cores to eat by yourself from now on. Stop biting people. People don't taste good, Shenyan said earnestly. Looking at this little zombie, he reminded him of the big dog he used to raise. Wait, no, this little zombie seems even dumber than a dog. He really couldn't treat him as a ferocious monster. But the little zombie stared at him stubbornly. I won't eat others, I only want to eat you. You smell the best. His eyes were still gray and foggy, but Shenyan seemed to be able to read the emotions in them. Come on, I'll take you somewhere else. He shook his head helplessly, and had no choice but to take the little zombie with him, and raided the territories of other high-level zombies. Watched him fight like he'd done it 100 times. Taught him to dig out the gold boxes. He also found a weapon for the little zombie, by the way. It was an octagonal hammer weighing 60 kilograms. The hammerhead alone weighed 20 kilograms. It was bigger than the little zombie's head, but the little zombie picked it up like it was a toy. He swung it with full force, taking down enemies with just one swing easily. It worked perfectly for him. As a thank you, the little zombie took Shenyan to a secret treasure vault. The whole warehouse was stacked neatly with rice. Shenyan reciprocated the favor. He generously took a bowl of braised pork out of his space. The little zombie's mouth was all red from eating, but he didn't notice at all. He kept raiding the whole city with meat juice all over him. In just 2 days, all the level 2 zombies in this small town were all wiped out by them. Finally, the little zombie's pockets were full of zombie crystals. He happily said goodbye to Shenyan. Shenyan watched his back at the intersection for a long time, before turning around and heading back to his shelter. When he walked in, his teammate Lujie came up to him. Brother Shen, I've finished everything you asked me to do. All the other stuff is packed too. We can leave first thing tomorrow morning. Kamyeka nodded. It's time to leave this small town. Meanwhile, after the little zombie got home excitedly, he suddenly found a weird big box in his house. He opened it and looked inside. It was cold inside. It was full of meat, several big plates of it. Turns out Shenyan told Luja to prepare all this. The fridge in the room was already connected to solar panels. The meat inside was exactly what the little zombie had raised. Those 2 big pigs that were nothing but skin and bones. Luja was so heartbroken when he killed the pigs. How bad of a keeper do you have to be to raise pigs like this? But the little zombie had no clue about any of this. He just went inside happily to eat the meat. He didn't even remember that the food he raised was gone. Until he finished a whole big basin of meat. He patted his round, bulging belly and went back to his room to sleep happily. But he ended up spacing out in bed for 2 hours, then clambered up and ran to the fridge to get more meat. That whole night, the little zombie ran back and forth countless times, until he ate all the meat in the fridge. Finally, the little zombie, whose face was covered in meat juice, stared innocently at the empty fridge. He slammed the door shut angrily. All the meat is gone, but he still wasn't satisfied. None of this meat tastes as good as that guy's nice smell. He finally waited until dawn. The little zombie hurried to his own warehouse and sorted through all the stuff there. filled a cart with snacks, and pushed it towards the familiar direction. Trade the tasty snacks for that nice smell. This time he's gonna bargain. And try to get an extra bite. The little zombie licked his tiny, sharp fangs. His steps got a lot lighter. As for Shen Yan, he was loading things into the car with Lu Jie right now. Even though he had space ability, it's more convenient to put some things directly in the car. Besides, his space can't hold living things. Lu Jie's family still has 4 or 5 piglets to bring along. All right, Brother Shen. Everything's done. Let's go. Lu Jie let his wife and kids get in the car. Then he got into the driver's seat himself. Shen Yan sat in the passenger seat. The car slowly started moving. Right at that moment, the little zombie also pushed his cart over here. He saw Shen Yan's figure from far away. He made a few happy gurgling sounds, but he got no response. Then his food supply drove away in the car. They left. The little zombie froze for a second. He immediately pushed his cart and chased after them. He hadn't even gotten one bite yet. The car was going fast. The little zombie was running super fast too. It didn't take long for Lu Jie to notice him. Brother Shen, it looks like someone's chasing us from behind. Could it be a zombie? He looked carefully in the rearview mirror to make out who it was. The figure looked a little familiar. Shen Yan also rolled down the car window and turned his head to look. His brows slowly furrowed. As a person with special abilities, he thought he must have lost his mind. To do so much for a zombie of all things. But now looking at the little zombie chasing the car, he thought he wasn't the only one who lost his mind. This zombie was totally hopeless. This one doesn't eat people. And doesn't infect people either. All he knows is fighting. A dumb, empty-headed idiot. Actually chased after us for real. Stop the car, all of you stay back. I'll go check it out. The little zombie saw Shen Yan get out of the car. He excitedly pushed his cart right in front of him. All of these are for you. Let me take a bite of you. He looked down at the piles of food. You ran all this way? Just to give these to me? You're that eager to bite me? The little zombie chirped twice in excitement, giggling. Shen Yan noticed her voice was getting closer to a human's. Then he spotted the little zombie's bulging belly. His jaw couldn't help twitching hard. You ate all that meat? Hey, the second meat was mentioned. The little zombie got even more excited. You're really something else. Looking at the little zombie's bold, unafraid look, Shen Yan almost laughed out of anger. I specialize in killing zombies, you know? If you stick with me, it's super risky. Despite saying that, he still took all the little zombie's stuff, including her precious little cart, and her favorite octagonal hammer inside the cart. 5 minutes later, the car started up again, but this time after they set off, in the back of the truck, besides a few piglets, there was one more passenger, the little zombie staring blankly at the piglets. What did she do wrong anyway? She just wants to take a bite, that's all. Shen Yan wouldn't let anyone get close to the little zombie. But, looking at the little thing sitting obediently in the corner of the truck bed, he could feel a splitting headache coming on. He was sure he must have lost his mind earlier. The Lu Jie family stared at the little zombie in confusion. It's not that they noticed she wasn't human. They just wondered why Shen Yan wouldn't let her sit inside the cab. After all, the little girl looked all dazed and slow. She looked really pitiful. Lu Jie's wife Suqing couldn't bear to see her like that. She quietly tugged at her husband's hand. Do you think I should give her a piece of clothing? Her clothes are all torn up really bad. She must have gone through a lot. When they reached the next rest stop, Lu Jie brought this up to Shen Yan. Shen Yan froze for a second. He'd never thought about changing clothes for a zombie before. But when he turned to look, the little zombie's clothes were totally tattered. Her face was so dirty it looked covered in random scribbles. All right, fine, she does look a little unsightly. The little zombie had stayed obediently in the truck bed all day. She didn't run off or throw a fit. Instead, she bobbed her head looking at the scenery around her. When she got bored, she played with the piglets next to her. When they stopped for the night, Shen Yan came to get the little zombie. He saw that several piglets had cuts on their bodies. And the culprit was staring at him with an innocent face, like she was saying, I didn't do it on purpose. I just wanted to play with them. In the apocalypse, not just humans can catch the zombie virus. Animals can too. But animals can't develop superpowers. But these wounded little piglets didn't turn into zombies. Shen Yan confirmed once again. This little zombie was a useless one that can't infect people. Zombie, get down here. Hearing the familiar voice, the little zombie excitedly stood at the edge of the truck looking down. Then she jumped with a loud thud and landed flat on her face. Shen Yan had to grab her by the back of her neck, lift her up and carry her inside the house. A big water vat was already filled with water. He tossed the little zombie into it, then turned around and left. The little zombie flailed around in the water twice, before she obediently washed herself clean, then put on the clothes that were laid out for her. Their stop this time was a small 2-story villa. The Liu family was staying upstairs. The first-floor living room was empty right now. Shen Yan was sitting on the sofa. He suddenly heard a loud thud. It sounded like something heavy fell on the floor. He immediately rushed to the bathroom. The little zombie was probably dazed from the fall. She was sitting on the floor, unable to get up. No one would think a zombie could bathe itself. But the little zombie actually finished this hard task all by herself? Maybe it was muscle memory. Just like how she insists on eating and sleeping every day. The little zombie put on the clothes. All cleaned up, the little zombie showed her original appearance. She was actually a really pretty little girl, with a tiny nose and mouth. Her cheeks had a little baby fat. If you didn't look at her lifeless gray eyes, you'd never guess she was a zombie. Her skin wasn't rotting at all. It even had normal elasticity. Only her fingernails were way too sharp. Shen Yan took out a nail clipper without hesitation and clipped them all in a few snips. Only then did the little zombie realize what happened. She chomped towards Shen Yan with an "awoo" sound, but only bit thin air. Shen Yan suddenly thought, this little zombie wasn't like the dog he raised. She was more like a grumpy cat. 2 minutes later, the little zombie was forced to wear a mask. Her wrists were held down while he clipped her nails. Her huffing noises, since she was wearing a mask, even her growls sounded off-key. When she heard her own voice, the little zombie froze. She growled softly and started playing with the mask. Shen Yan's mouth twitched. He thought this little zombie was adorably brainless. From now on, without my permission, you are not allowed to take it off. Got it? The mask is a small issue. The problem with her eyes is way harder to fix. The little zombie's eyes are way too protruding. Shen Yan plans to look around later, see if there's stuff like colored contacts. She took a bath, got her nails cut, and changed into clean clothes. The mask covered her pale, bloodless lips. The little zombie looks even more human now. All right, I'm gonna get some rest. You stay on guard here tonight. If any zombies come, kill them immediately. If any people show up, wake me up. If you do a good job, you'll get meat to eat tomorrow. Shen Yan took out that huge octagonal hammer. He ruthlessly exploited the empty-headed little zombie. He hired a super strong bodyguard with just a bowl of meat. This deal is a total win no matter how you look at it. No one knew if the little zombie understood him. Anyway, she sat obediently at the front gate. Her eyes were as wide as saucers. She leaned on the octagonal hammer in her hand. She only had one thought in her head: eat meat. What bad intentions could a simple little zombie have? She just wants to eat meat, that's all. But the night was really peaceful. No zombies showed up, no people came by either. The little zombie guarded the place all night for nothing. Actually, Shen Yan didn't sleep the whole night either. He just closed his eyes to rest. How could he trust a zombie to stand guard? But the little zombie's performance really satisfied him. She really stayed on guard the whole time, obediently. The next day, Shen Yan kept his promise. He gave the little zombie a small bowl of meat. After the little zombie finished eating, there was meat juice all around her mouth again. Shen Yan couldn't help it. He roughly wiped her mouth for her. Then he put the mask back on her. Later, he found out this mask was like a seal. When it was off, the little zombie would try to bite him. But she was totally well-behaved once she had it on. She wouldn't even open her mouth at all. The next day, Luja and his wife saw the cleaned-up little zombie. They never expected that the person who was as dirty as a mud ball before was actually such a pretty young girl. Their daughter was even more excited. She held the little zombie's hand and called her pretty sister. The little zombie didn't respond. Finally, everyone got in the car. The little zombie still wanted to play with the piglet. But she didn't have her nails anymore, and her mouth was sealed by the mask. She had nothing to scare the piglet with anymore. Instead, she got pushed around by the piglet and could barely stand. The little zombie was huffing and puffing. She sat glumly in the corner of the carriage, hugging her knees. She sat in the back of the truck for 2 days. Shen Yan still wouldn't let anyone get close to her. He only explained that the little zombie wasn't quite right in the head. Super strong and liked to hit people. Luja and Suching both thought she was a young girl who got traumatized after the apocalypse. They never even thought she might be a zombie. This girl is so pitiful. Do you think I should send some food over to her? That day, Su-ching cooked instant noodles. She added greens and poached eggs in it. It looked super delicious. Luja scratched his head. But Brother Shen won't let us get close to her. Then you take an extra bowl to Brother Shen. We can't just let her go hungry, right? The little zombie was also looking over here at this time. She squatted at the end of the truck, staring straight ahead without moving. She didn't even blink for ages. It smells so good, the little zombie could smell the aroma. Even though it wasn't the same as what she wanted to eat, it still smelled really good. She slowly climbed down from the truck, squatted on the grass and kept sniffing. She was still holding her precious hammer in her arms. This octagonal hammer was what she pestered him for ages for yesterday, and finally got back from that annoying human's hands. Shenyan walked over carrying 2 bowls of noodles. You're pretty popular, huh? They even specially made noodles for you. Can you even eat this? Shenyan clearly knew the little zombie couldn't eat this, but he teased her on purpose. He even put the bowl of noodles right in front of her. It smells so good, there's the smell of meat. The little zombie couldn't hold back. She directly grabbed a handful of noodles and stuffed them in her mouth. Pa pa pa! It clearly smelled like meat. Why does it taste so bad? Poor little zombie. She had no idea what sketchy food additives were. What made it even more annoying? Shenyan saw how uncomfortable she looked, and actually burst out laughing. The little zombie got so angry she kicked the noodle bowl over directly. Then she got visibly upset. Wow, there's no food to eat. And this bad guy won't even let her bite him. She doesn't want to follow him anymore. What's wrong? Are you mad? The little zombie ignored him and silently turned around. Turns her back to Shen Yan. Something clatters and falls at the little zombie's feet. Try this. Maybe you can eat it. Shen Yan already found out the little zombie can only eat meat. She throws up anything else she eats. But she doesn't seem to know that herself. She always shoves all kinds of random stuff in her mouth. She probably still thinks she's human. What Shen Yan threw was a pack of beef jerky. Since she can eat braised pork, beef jerky should work for her too. But the little zombie held back and didn't pick it up. She was still mad. Shen Yan wanted to laugh when he saw her conflicted face. He ended up picking it up himself. He tore open the packaging bag. The little zombie snatched it from him the next second and stuffed the whole pack in her mouth. She probably thought it tasted great. Her little mouth was stuffed completely full. Her cheeks were all puffed out. No willpower at all. Shen Yan shook his head with a smile. He quickly finished the noodles in his bowl and left carrying the 2 empty bowls. The little zombie swallowed the beef jerky in her mouth and kept squatting there, zoning out. Just then, Luja's daughter finished her meal too and ran near the little zombie to play. She was very well behaved. She didn't get close. She just tilted her head and looked at her from afar. Sis, why don't you eat the noodles my mom made? It's super yummy, the little girl asked in a soft, childish voice. Shen Yan was sitting under the car right now. If the little zombie showed any sign of attacking, he could stop her immediately. But the little zombie was clearly interested in human kids. She copied the little girl's move and tilted her head to look at them too. Her eyes were pure and confused. Sis, can't you talk? The girl continued asking, but the little zombie still didn't make a sound and just turned her head to the other side. This sister is so weird. The little girl turned around to go back, muttering to herself as she walked. But the second she turned around, the little zombie suddenly stood up and threw the octagonal hammer in her hand right out, aimed straight at the little girl's direction. Shen Yan stood up abruptly, but didn't make a move, because the hammer flew past the little girl and landed behind her. When the hammerhead hit, it looked like a flower bursting open, and white liquid splattered everywhere. Luja, who was terrified, ran over quickly, picked up the kid and handed her to Su-ching. Shen Yan also jumped off the car and walked to the bushes, and found there was indeed a broken animal carcass hiding inside. Its head had already been smashed by the hammer. Judging by its body shape, it should be a zombified lizard. No one knew how long this zombified lizard had been hiding there. Even Shen Yan didn't notice it. The little zombie was the first to sense it.